Hey there folks, it's the Rocker S here and actually just need to check. Yeah, we're still good. We're actually recording. Today, along with the sort of countdown list that I done, which got some really positive feedback, so I want to thank yous for that. I decided to sort of keep working on sort of lists just till I can actually get the whole sort of recording thing down without it actually letting me down. So today's list is actually going to be a bit different. It's a top 20. Now, I know what you're thinking, don't worry. I know my zombie video was 20 minutes, but I had a lot to say. It's a bit pressed on my heart. I'm actually going to do it in two parts. So I'm going to have 1 through 10 and then 10 through 20 in another video. But unlike before, I'm actually not going to rank these ones because there's just so much to actually get through. So the list that we're actually going to tackle today is actually very close to a gamer's heart. They all remember their first games console. Mine's was this little weird box thing that you played. It's like a take-out joystick and everything, but then I upgraded. I actually got the Sega Mega Drive. That's the UK release anyway. It was also known as the Sega Genesis, and responsible for some of gaming's bigger names, and also a lot of weird tie-ins as well. So today we're actually going to have a look at my personal top 20. So as I said, I'm not going to put these in order. I would try to put these in order, would be like try to choose between children. You just can't do it. So yeah, we're going to have a look at that, look at some of the best games that I played growing up, and sort of trying to show some people that maybe don't know too much about the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, because I know they're out there. Just show you that fancy graphics didn't always mean a better game.
Number 1.
So kicking off the list is one of my all-time favourite games. It's construction and management sim called Theme Park. A very huge game nowadays, along with similar sort of games like Thrillville. Developed by Bullfrog and published by EA, well, Electronic Arts. Released in '94, it pretty much gives the player keys to their own dream theme park. As you can see here from the from the video, you can set the prices, you can set research, you can add in different sort of, just make it your own theme park with your rules. The whole premise behind it is to build up your own perfect theme park and earn so much money that you can move to maybe somewhere else in the country, because you start out in the UK. It spawned 2 sequels, Theme Park World and Theme Park Inc.
Number 2.
Next up is a personal favourite of mine. It's Chakan the Forever Man. It was developed by Extended Play Productions and published by Sega, released in 1992. It's actually based off a comic by Robert A. Krause. The game follows a warrior who's so confident in his martial abilities that he feels Death himself couldn't best him. So Death comes in and challenges Chakan with the promise that if Chakan wins, he will be granted immortality. While the game itself had a very sort of dark premise, it was very uncommon at the time, because most games around that sort of early 90s period was based around or off of cartoons or children's cartoons. The game itself was known for its unusually high difficulty, but dedicated fans will still play this game to this day, me included.
Number 3.
Pitfall the Mayan Adventure follows Pitfall Harry Jr., the son of the Pro Tag from the classic Atari 2600 Pitfall. It's developed and published by Activision. It was released in 1994, I think it was. As Pitfall Harry, you're just going through this Mayan jungle to try and rescue your father. Some little fun hidden features were implemented in certain versions of the game, including one of the better features was the ability to play the Atari version of Pitfall, the classic, after finding certain hidden doorways. It was well loved by fans and critics alike.
Number 4.
Road Rash 3 Tour de Force was the final installment of the Road Rash series on the Sega Mega Drive. It was made by Electronic Arts and released in 1995. The races actually take place in 5 out of 7 countries with sort of different variants for each country. You get the choice of 15 bikes available in different classes and 4 upgrades for each. So a lot of content already right off the bat. You've also got 8 weapons that were available in the game, and the game would actually allow you to carry over the weapons between the races just as long as the game wasn't reset. It's also famously known for using digitised sprites to replace the cartoony sprites of the first 2 installments.
Number 5.
Coming in at number 5 is Streets of Rage, also known as Bare Knuckle in Japan. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game developed and published by Sega exclusively for their Sega Mega Drive console. It follows Axel Stone and Blaze Fielding to pretty much rid a crime-troubled city of a crime boss called Mr. X. Generic villain name right there. The first game was actually released in 1991. It spawned 2 sequels featuring new characters and features. There was also some mods available online as well. A 3D remake was actually in development by a company called Grin before they sadly closed down. Some early artwork and some screenshots and a very early build of it was leaked online. Another company called Backbone Entertainment pitched a new Streets of Rage game to Sega, but it wasn't greenlit, so all we've really got is emulators to just remember how much of a fantastic game this was.
Number 6.
Robocop vs Terminator was released in 1992 on a number of platforms and was clearly based off the Robocop and the Terminator movies, the franchises. So the Mega Drive, which originally had the sort of lead development of the game, was programmed by Virgin Games, making use of the Mega Drive engine by David Perry, I think his name was, and is loosely based off a 4-issue comic miniseries of the same name. The Mega Drive follows the story that Cyberdyne uses Robocop technology in creating Skynet. It then becomes fully self-aware and launches a war against mankind.
Number 7.
So we've got a lot to cover with this next entry. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Was originally created by Yuji Naka, which is developed and owned by Sega. The main game is at its core a platformer, even though certain spin-offs has been released where it's been a racing game and other sort of genres. Sorry about that. The protag Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, usually has to stop main series baddie Dr. Ivo Robotnik, or as he's better known in the games, Dr. Eggman, and foil his plans of world domination. The game itself was intended to highlight Sonic's running and jumping at high speeds using springs, checkpoints and loops throughout the level. His most famous sidekick, Tails, what was his second name? Can't even remember. Was introduced in Sonic 2 in 92, and in 94 with the release of Sonic 3, new character Knuckles the Echidna was introduced as a playable character. Fans seem to really like him because of his gliding and climbing abilities.
Number 8.
Next up, one of my favourite all-time games ever, like in my top 5 anyway, is a game developed by Virgin Interactive and Sega. It's Disney's Aladdin. At the time, Sega obtained a license to publish games based on Disney movies and established a collaboration deal with Disney Animations, which was the first of its kind at the time in the video game industry. So this game actually did break some big ground. What was I going to say? Yeah, the levels are actually based off of locations in the movie. In Aladdin's arsenal, he has a sword which can deflect attacks, sword attacks and projectiles. He himself has a limited supply of apples which you can collect through the levels to sort of rebuild your stash, as it were, which can be used as projectiles as well. You collect gems which can be traded at market stalls for lives and continues. You can also collect genie tokens to gamble for apples, gems and extra lives at the end of a level. In addition to all these sort of tokens and gems, you can also collect an Abu token, like his little monkey helper thing, in which you actually control Abu to catch bonus items, gems and such, while avoiding items and enemies.
Number 9.
If I had to pick one of my top games, like if I actually had to pick sorry folks, it'll be this one, Haunting Star and Poltergeist. It has to be one of the best Sega Mega Drive games ever. It was released in 93 and took advantage of Sega's VGR, the Video Game Rating Council, to include spooky themes such as blood and other sort of elements of that sorts. In the game, you actually go a rebellious dead teenager called Poltergeist who haunts the house of this really posh yuppie family called the Sardinis. I always laugh at that. Sorry folks, got something stuck in my throat here. With the sole purpose of pretty much scaring the pants off this family and making them leave their own home, like just scaring them out the home. So he has an ectometer which you can use to possess items over the 4 homes, the 4 levels that you get. There is actually over 400, approximately about 400 items, so there's a lot of replayability as well to see what you could have possessed and took control of. Once a family member leaves a room scared, you'll get back some of the ecto used to possess the item. If you let it deplete too much, you'll actually go to the underworld where you can find special spells, more ecto, and you have to avoid bats and demons and things like that down there. So yeah, the meter will actually drop as well. If the dog sees you, it will actually drop quite significantly. Also, you have to worry about ecto beasts as well, so there's a lot to sort of try and get around to scare this family out of their own home.
Number 10.
So to round us off at number 10 in this top 20 is by no means least Vector Man, a game released in 95, developed by Blue Sky Software and published by Sega. It's a run and gun platforming game set in the year 2049. The population of Earth had basically abandoned Earth and to populate other planets. They subsequently leave orb bots, they're called, pretty much robots of little orbs, to clean up Earth, like, due to all the litter and pollution. Talk about a crap job. Anyway, enter Vector Man, who notices that all the remaining orb bots are controlled by Warhead, an orb bot who has pretty much went insane and declared himself ruler of Earth. So it's sorry folks, it's up to Vector Man to sort of take him down a few pegs or two. The great thing about this game was, at the time, it used pre-rendered 3D models in its level and character designs. It gives the game a very computer generated feel, very similar to what Donkey Kong Country did. It both used graphical tricks to show beyond what the console was thought of producing. So for that, it's got to be one of my favourite games. Vector Man himself can transform into unique forms. To help him in the level, he can be a drill that will drill through like floors, bombs to sort of explode and kill every enemy, as it were, and an aquatic form to help him swim as well. There's 3 different forms, and there's a sort of multi-tier boss at the end. Very similar to what Sonic done, sort of go through a level, defeat a boss, sort of thing. So yeah, this will round out the top 10.
So as you can see, I've actually spent all day editing this video for you, so that's just the first part. As I said, trying to sort of put them in order would be ridiculous. Like, there's not one I like more than the other. I mean, as I said, if I really had to, it would probably be Vector Man at the top, with Haunting. They two were some of the most fantastic games I ever actually got to play on the Sega. So, oh sorry folks, I've got a really bad cough today. So yeah, look forward to part 2. That will sort of count down from 11 to 20. It will feature such games as Ultimate Mortal Kombat, Taz Escapes from Mars, and many other great ones. Again, it was so hard to sort of try and narrow down this list as well. That's why it's purely just a top 20, just so I could actually fit most of them in. I used to have a box, like, seriously, like this big, like, it was huge, and it had all my Sega games in it, and there was a lot that I can't even mention, like Shadow of the Beast 2, that was fantastic, Columns, that actually might be in the list, I don't know. Anyway, so if you like this video, make sure you like it, add it to your favourites. As I said, keep your eyes peeled for part 2. That should be up hopefully tomorrow or the next day. I haven't actually decided yet, just whenever I sort of get round to editing it. A lot of work goes into these sort of videos, the top 10s anyway. I do pride myself on sort of trying to give you folks a very good video, a very good quality video. So, I mean, I've actually recorded all the gameplay myself, that's why it sucks. And yeah, so thanks very much for watching folks, and yeah, stay tuned for more videos.
PC and Xbox, I'm sure it was. Yeah, I'm sure. So yeah.